Now that you've got the hang of finding an area of a circle, now it's time to look at sectors or parts of a circle. A sector is just a section. Homer Simpson works in Sector 7G, so that would be a part of the nuclear power plant. Or when I say works, not really works. But anyway, I digress. So, let's just start with a basic circle here. So here, I've got a circle and I've shaded in a quarter of it. And I've asked you to find the area of the shaded part. Well, the area of the shaded part, and I'm just going to draw here, would be, see, an area of a circle is pi r squared. And then it would be 1/4 of that answer. So for example, if this was, let's say, 5 centimeters, then the answer would be 1/4 times pi 5 squared. Notice here I've put brackets. Brackets mean the same thing as times. So pi r squared is also the same as saying pi times 5 squared. Remember, this, the pi doesn't need to be squared, only the number, whatever the radius is. So pi times by 1/4 times 25, because 5 squared is 5 times 5, 25. Then we'll use our friend the calculator. Times by 1/4. And we should have 19.635 centimeters squared. And there we go. So if I was wanting to find half of that circle, then it would be half times pi r squared. If I wanted 3/4, it would be 3/4 times pi r squared. And in case your calculator is a little bit funny about this sort of thing, just remember, a quarter is equal to 0.25, a half is equal to 0.5, 3/4 is equal to 0.75. So always remember those. That's another way you can type it in instead of having to try and do a fraction or whatever the case might be. In summary, an area of a sector or a section is the fraction of it, whatever the amount is shaded, times by pi r squared. Now what happens if the fraction is a little bit odd? As in it's not, you know, a nice easy quarter or a third. Let's just say it would look like this. So we've got the section here, and I don't know what fraction that is, so it's not an easy, I could try to draw it out or whatever the case might be, but that would be a little difficult. Now, what I can do, now you might see this little symbol here. It'll look something like this. Okay. That is theta. It's a Greek letter. It's Greek letter theta, and it's used for finding the unknown angle. So this is theta. This is for finding unknown angles. It is the Greek equivalent of x. And particularly it's used for anything angles-wise. How many degrees are there in a whole circle? If I was to go around in a circle, how many degrees have I got? 360. So basically, if the total number of degrees in a circle is 360, then the fraction of this sector, well, that would just be the angle in here divided by the entire amount. So whatever the angle inside of that little sector is, divided by the total number, times by pi r squared. That's how it works. That's the fraction-y bit, because it's that little section. We look at the angle there and say, well, it's that we want, and it's, I suppose it's acting like a percentage. So for instance, when we had that quarter times pi r squared, basically what I was saying is that that was a quarter of 360 degrees. So that would in fact be 90 over, because remember when we had a quarter, it looked, when we had a quarter, it was a right angle, because that's a quarter. So that was 90 over 360 degrees, which makes a quarter. So essentially whatever angle in there divided by 360 times pi r squared. Let's do an example. We've got this distance here is 3 centimeters, and that's the 80 degrees is the area inside. What does the 3 centimeters represent? Well, if it's a line going from the inside of the circle right to the outside, that's a radius. That'll be r. So basically this 3 gets replaced here. 3. Making that nice and dark so you can see it. And the 80 just goes up here. And then it's just a matter of working out on the calculator. So 80 divided by 360. Well, we can work this out as a fraction if you want. So this will be 8 over... So if we cancel it down, the zeros cancel it out. The common factor between 8 and 36 would be 4. So this would be... So 4 can go into 8 2 times, 4 can go into 36 9 times. Times 3 squared is 9. So times by pi times by 9. Oh, and guess what? Fractions here, that 9 and that 9 will cancel out. So we get 2 pi, which is equal to 6 point, whatever the case might be. So let's get to pi times 2, 6.283. And there we go. And there's that area of a sector. So just to remember, it's the fraction of the circle times by pi r squared.